Kevin De Bruyne, Darwin Núñez, the new-look Napoli team is scary. After conquering Italy in 2024-25, Conte isn't slowing down. He's gunning for European dominance. With a spine of world-class talents and a ruthless transfer strategy, Napoli are going from underdogs to super club status. Napoli's pursuit of Núñez is not just another transfer headline. This is a calculated strike. Behind closed doors, the club's owner, Aurelio De Laurentiis, is involved in the talks. He and his team of analysts have been tracking Núñez's heat maps, sprint metrics, and movement under pressure. They've noticed what many have missed. Despite his inconsistent finishing in England, Núñez consistently finds himself in elite goal-scoring positions. In fact, his XG per 90 minutes ranked in the top 7% of Premier League forwards last season, which is higher than many established names. So, we can understand that Conte's interest in him is no coincidence. He sees Núñez not as a flawed striker, but as a player tailor-made for a redemption arc. In his 4-3-3 structure, which turns into 3-5-2, Núñez's chaotic, unstructured energy becomes an asset rather than a liability. His ability to stretch defenses with diagonal runs, combined with his underrated pressing ability, fits perfectly with Conte's high block transitions. This is where it gets even more interesting. Napoli's scouts believe Núñez has been misused at Liverpool. He often plays too isolated from the system, which didn't maximize his physical gifts. In Napoli's system, he won't be expected to drop deep or link, he'll be tasked with destruction. This isn't about replacing a striker, it's about launching a new attacking philosophy. We all know how experienced coach Antonio Conte is, and in his high-pressing structure, Darwin Núñez will be an invaluable addition. The main question is, how do you channel this raw energy into a midfield structure that supports it? This is where Napoli's second masterstroke comes in. When Kevin De Bruyne turned down 9 offers from Saudi clubs to join Napoli as a free agent, it sent shockwaves through Europe. At 34, many assumed he would ride out his final years in comfort. However, he chose fun and war in Serie A. The world knows how physically grueling and mentally troublesome football is in Italy, but De Bruyne saw something in Conte's Napoli that rekindled his competitive fire after long injuries. This signing wasn't opportunistic. Napoli had to convince De Bruyne how he's going to have more impact and ball time with them. The data department ran many simulations with De Bruyne's passing metrics from Manchester City, modeling how they would overlay into Conte's 3-5-2 vertical lanes. The results were promising for Kevin. According to them, he'd have more time on the ball and an increased number of entries in the attacking third area, where he has dominated countless teams in the Premier League. This signing is not based on nostalgia. De Bruyne gave an average of 3.07 key passes per 90 minutes last season in the Premier League. His career key passes rate per 90 minutes is a bit higher at 3.17. If we add the real value of De Bruyne to these stats, which involves manipulating defensive shapes and getting in no-man's zones of half spaces, he can prove lethal with Darwin Núñez and Romelu Lukaku in front of the goal. However, De Bruyne is 34. To make this structure work, he needs cover, protection, and someone to break legs while he breaks lines. That need for enforcer-creatrix balance, it brings us to the most surprising midfield duo in Europe. This duo of McTominay with Kevin De Bruyne seems absurd. We never thought about it when they were both in England. It's like forcing a Viking and a violinist into the same orchestra. But necessity is the mother of all invention. This midfield axis has been meticulously planned by the genius of Antonio Conte, and it can become the backbone of his Naples project in the near future. McTominay is not ridiculously creative, but he is ferociously functional. Conte values players who sacrifice ego for the system, and McTominay did this job for him last season when they beat Inter Milan for the Serie A title with just 1 point. He averages 4.3 ball recoveries per 90 minutes in a game, which gives freedom to the players playing alongside him. This stat was mostly overlooked during his Manchester United days, where he played offensively despite being a defensive midfielder. His shots per 90 minutes and XG increased while his defensive masterclass remained untapped. In this setup, McTominay won't just shield the backline, he'll screen for De Bruyne. The Scottish international positional discipline means De Bruyne can float into half spaces, pull defenders, and carve out moments of magic without tracking back 60 yards. It's a symbiosis relationship of steel and silk. However, there is still a gamble here. If McTominay fails to adapt to Conte's demanding man-marking press, the entire system can collapse. But there is the hidden edge. Conte's coaching staff is implementing hybrid drills, combining De Bruyne's off-ball spatial awareness with McTominay's shadowing technique. It's an interesting chess match played weekly in training to create instinctive synergy. There's one more wild card in this equation: Matteo Politano. The Italian winger's new role midfield could be the key to unlocking the entire midfield structure, feeding both De Bruyne's instincts and McTominay's momentum. So, what happens when the midfield matrix plugs into the front line? Get ready, because the next phase involves pure fireworks. In football, very few managers dare to play with two traditional strikers in the modern game. Antonio Conte, he thrives on it. He used to play both Harry Kane and Heung-min Son at Tottenham in a 3-5-3 or 3-4-1-2 system, which caused constant headaches for the other big five in the Premier League. Not only that, his Premier League winning Chelsea also used Diego Costa and Michy Batshuayi in front of the goal effectively for the title. So, it's no secret why Conte wants Darwin Núñez to join Lukaku at Napoli. His reunion with Lukaku was also inevitable. Under his guidance at Inter, Lukaku posted career-best numbers in goals, movement efficiency, and hold-up retention as well. The Belgian is now Napoli's battering ram against deep blocks, someone who can pin centre-backs, drag a second defender, and open channel for Núñez's diagonal surges. The danger of this partnership lies in the overlap. Both players favour similar zones, left-sided drifts, channel runs, and near-past powerful shots. If not managed correctly, they can collide with each other multiple times on the pitch. But here's the tactical twist. Conte plans to use asymmetrical striker roles, with Lukaku as a static reference point and Núñez as a roaming destructive agent. It won't be a partnership built on passing between the two, but decoy movement and layered pressing triggers. To make this partnership successful, analysts inside the club are also tracking secondary metrics like forced back passes and final third sprints after recovery. These are the elements that disrupt elite European defenses, not raw goal counts. The front line will be polarizing by this pairing, but that's the idea of Antonio Conte. He's changing the concept of Italian football. Some will call it blunt force football. However, if he can align their strengths, Napoli's attack will function like a two-headed spear. One was designed to break bones, the other to cause panic. Now, we have to talk about one of the most important tactical positions in modern football. Of course, no spear is complete without its wings. Here enters Matteo Politano, and potentially a surprise name from the shadows of the Netherlands. On the wings, Napoli has had a consistent face for the last 5 years in the form of Matteo Politano. He is one of their most fascinating reinventions in the new era of dominations. Under Spalletti, he was reborn as a wide playmaker and consistent performer. Under Conte, he's becoming a dagger. Few remember their partnership at Inter during Conte's spell as Inter's head coach. Now he's united again with his squire, who's turned into a knight with better defensive tracking, stronger positioning, and sharper instincts near the byline. In this system, wingbacks are not auxiliary players. They are essential cogs tasked with progression, overlap timing, and pressing resilience. Politano's average of 0.89 successful dribbles, it may seem modest until you consider his zone efficiency. He completes those dribbles in high-pressure areas, often with a direct result: crosses, key passes, or drawn fouls. The real buzz, however, comes from Napoli's interest and potentially a done deal with PSV star Noah Lang. The 26-year-old winger ranks in the 98th percentile for progressive carries. He's a natural breaker of lines who takes the ball forward under pressure. The strategy here is clear: Politano for controlled incision on the left, an explosive ball carrier on the right. Opposing fullbacks will constantly be pulled between containment and overload, especially when the midfield three, led by De Bruyne, overloads central corridors. The last part of this puzzle would be the defense. It would hold the key to the success of all this operation. We've seen elite attacks of PSG and FC Barcelona fail because of fragile defenses, so they need a defensive scheme so precise that it would seal Napoli's evolution from tactically good to tactically elite. Antonio Conte knows very well how to make that tactically elite team in defense. He's always been known in Europe for arranging strong defensive teams. In fact, this Napoli side won the league because of a compact back structure in the formations after having 3 managers in one season of 2023-24. His team showed a masterclass of defensive sophistication and resilience, setting a new benchmark for defensive excellence in Europe. The Godfather's trademark formation, yes, that's the nickname he's given in Italy, allowed wingbacks to drop deep. That line of 5 in the back, it formed a compact defense that allowed rare attackers towards the goal. In numbers, they conceded a mere 0.64 goals per game and kept 19 clean sheets, the best in Serie A. What made this defense truly elite was Conte's innovative trigger-based pressing. Rather than exhausting his players with relentless high pressing, Napoli used to wait patiently, allowing opponents to enter pressing traps before launching synchronized aggressive bursts to win the ball in dangerous areas. This intelligent pressing style, combined with 18 interceptions and 15 successful tackles per match showcased a team that was both proactive and efficient in disrupting opponents' play. Looking to 2025-26, Conte plans to sharpen this defensive fortress further by integrating new signings like Sam Bukema, enhancing pressing traps and improving transition speed. With a deeper squad and refined tactics, Napoli aims not just to defend their domestic title, but to dominate Europe after turning their defense into a launchpad for continental conquest. From tactical reinventions to transfer masterstrokes, this Napoli squad isn't just competing, they are rewriting football's power hierarchy. Ruthless, unpredictable, and built for war. This team is not normal, and that's what makes them terrifying. Do you think they can conquer Europe?